How you getting on? You well? Are you well? Well, great. Well, here, listen to this, right? I've unbuckled my belt, right? Listen to this. Doesn't this belt sound particularly like a cowboy, right? Well, friend. Howdy, friend. Does that sound? Well, let me tell you this. I've unbuckled my belt, and we'll get to why in a second, right? Spoiler, not a wank, but I'll tell you this. If I hear the sound of a rustling belt, then I think they're having a wank in there. Like, if you heard, like, it's like you knock on the door and you hear, just a second, it's someone having a wank in there, right? So if I were to knock in the door, boot down the door, if I was to knock on the door of like a cowboy conference and they just stood up, you'd hear, just a second, partner, all wanking each other off. Broke wank mountain in there. Rewatched I was talking about this recently. Well, I rewatched clips from Brokeback Mountain, and Jake Gyllenhaal is brilliant. Spoiler alert: I like Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's great in it. Don't forget, it was him as Jack Twist who said the line, "I wish I knew how to quit you." Everyone's so focused on Ennis, the Heath Ledger character, but it's actually sorry. This is what I'm talking about. I'm out of breath now from just standing up. Listen, I'm going to level with you, right? I know I come on here, right? Come all over here. Stupid, dumb. I cannot edit this. I simply do not have the time. I come on here, right? And I talk about my secret eating, and we all have a good laugh, right? But it's come to a fucking head, right? It's come to a head, and it's affecting my relationships with my family, and I'm gonna stop. I have to stop. Okay, I've decided. Not that this isn't some big proclamation like I'm fucking. This is it. I'm getting fit. I have like two. I could make a fort out of the amount of journals I've filled. a fort made of journals. I can make a fort out of that. The amount of journals that I've filled with lines that say, now, Tony, now is when you turn it all around. Now is when I'm going to get fitness goals. I'm going to bench it. I could, honestly, there's, yep, rah, 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 rah. Okay, here we go. Boom, ka, boom, ba, boom, ka, boom, boom, ba, ka, boom, ba, boom, ka. I've put on too much weight. It's not too late to get fit and fearsome. Let's clear some. See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm out of breath. So I'm going to try to get a little bit fitter. I was on here a couple of weeks ago, right, talking to you about how I logged into the MyFitnessPal app, right, MyFitnessPal, and the first time I'd logged in on it was 8 years ago, and I was the same weight then as I am now, right? That was in July. Okay, I've gained 5 pounds since then. Okay, I've gained that weight. That weight has long since passed. I don't know if you've ever seen that Marcus documentary. Your man Marcus, the guy from Dundalk who went to a Tony Quinn conference and convinced some chap from Dublin in the Boom Times, who may have been in love with him, but hey, I'm not saying that for sure. Some chap in the Boom Times to invest millions in his career of being a pop star and a singer, and he spent all this money on the London Symphony Orchestra, went off to like Michael Jackson's vocal coach, like basically, I don't think played this guy, but just had a very kind of Conor McGregor, like this is how I'm going to be, this is how I'm going to go, right? I don't do a Dundalk accent. Anyway, but there's a bit in it where the guy who's funding all this, he goes, well, when we started this whole thing, Marcus said to me, that the whole cost of this whole operation would be in the realm of about £200,000. That number has long since passed. He spent millions on him. Anyway, that number has long since passed. I was at one stage, this is when I was the heaviest I'd been, was I was £181 and sixpence, right? 0.6. That number has long since passed, and I'm now, no, it was 181.2, right? I'm now 186.5, right? And whatever this might sound, look, everyone's beautiful, everyone's got a great body type. I am out of my normal zone, right? If you're normally 230, if you're normally 300, whatever it is, it's up to you, whatever you're comfortable with, what you want to fluctuate from. You might stay and be happy to go up or down 5 pounds from even 300, right? For me, because that is the heaviest I've been, and because whatever, I've fucking had it on fucking 5 pounds since July. I was the heaviest I was in July, and now I've added another 5 pounds, and it doesn't feel comfortable in my skin, right? And I had this revelation, and the reason I found this out was when I logged into the MyFitnessPal app again and weighed myself again today, and this all came to a head, right? Well, it didn't come to a head, but I realized there was a couple of things. Yeah. I had a fucking Chinese in a field again, right? I had a fucking Chinese in a field again. And you know, a Chinese, you need a plate. I didn't have a plate. So do you know what I did? I put it on a fucking rock. I put it on a rock. You know the sort of rock that like kind of lets you know that you're now in an estate. It says like welcome to whatever. You know, welcome to I don't know, fucking Grange Road or whatever it is. Welcome to fucking you know, Barley Muse or whatever the fuck. I'm making up these places. I don't know. I'm making whatever. You see a big rock and it has the sign on it. I ate a Chinese off one of them on Friday because I was drunk. I came back from doing the Bandwagons podcast. The Bandwagons had me on their podcast to quash this beef, to squash this beef between us, which a lot of people believe was a genuine beef. Let me tell you this: the beef between me and the Bandwagons ladies. There's less beef between me and them girls than there is in a bloody Iceland lasagna. You know what I mean? So don't worry about that. There's no beef. I even saw on the Tony Cantwell Reddit that someone was like, I really don't like the idea of Tony being so cruel. And I wasn't. It was to boost our careers like Fiddy and Kanye. And it clearly did an amazing job. There was no beef. But anyway, and actually we were talking about it was a kind of agony aunt questions. You don't have to listen to it. You know, it's on their Patreon. Get on to me and I'll send you the MP3. No, support local podcasts. But yeah, so I had a couple of drinks of that and then I came home and got a Chinese. And then I was sitting there lying to my wife because I came in. I was like, I didn't bring up the fact that I had a Chinese on a rock outside, right? I didn't say that. And I don't want to be the sort of guy who can be papped with a fucking mouthful of chicken balls eating them off a rock. I had a bit of paper down on the rock. I wasn't eating it straight off the rock, right? And I could have been papped with a mouthful of chicken balls, and that could have ruined my candidacy for resident of Goat House. So I cannot let this happen. Not when something so important is on the line as me getting into Goat House. Me being the Farron-T of the Goat House gang. Goat House is a new house of influencers. I'll talk about it later on. So I cannot risk being papped. And also, I've been so comfortable in my hovel being listened to by you. Finally listened to. My son just won't listen to me. I have to listen to him crying or him laughing, which I love. I know I've been a bit hot and cold with the baby thing, but I'm really enjoying it at the moment. Look, cards on the table. I'm enjoying being a father, and I'm enjoying having a baby. I think it's great, and I'm enjoying the bonding feeling and growing more in my heart. Okay, I'm enjoying loving him more. And I didn't like babies. I didn't like him being a baby for a while, and I do like it now. So it will. If you're a new dad, maybe it'll happen. But also, if it doesn't, it'll breeze by. So don't worry about it. That's all. Anyway, dad corner, just put that to the side. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so I can't be eating fucking Chinese on a rock, and I kind of want to have a better health in general, right? Bill Burr said he spent the first half of his life deeply unfit, and he doesn't want to spend the second half, and he's gone fit, right? And to be honest, it's not going to be difficult. It'll be difficult for me. It's difficult for anyone to get fit, okay? It is difficult for anyone to get fit. But for me, literally all it will take, it's not like Mike Tyson eating 5,000 calories and training 3 hours a day to fight Roy Jones Jr. to get back in his physical peak or whatever. For me, it is just don't eat a Chinese. Don't make unnecessary journeys and eat chicken balls off a rock in an estate in a field, okay? And no more McDonald's breakfast. No more dressing up like Chevy Chase and the fucking Invisible Man, ordering McDonald's incognito mode browser face on an iPad and adding loads of bacon to it because you're not actually having to speak to another person. So listen, I'm getting better. And I realised it when I was sitting there with Terry, watching Black Panther, and three things were happening. One was I couldn't see because the amount of sodium had made me blind. And the second thing was looking at Chadwick Boseman and the fucking neck on him and knowing that this is 2016 and he probably had cancer and didn't realize it, and he's still a fucking specimen. And he's about 39 here. So he's 39 at Black Panther. He looks like a fucking specimen. And also just that he's going through that. He's also older than me. And also just, you got to fucking like, you're not guaranteed anything. You're not guaranteed anything. Would I like to feel a bit better? Probably. Would I like to not click when I dance with my son in the morning? Probably. You know? I'm a creaking 32-year-old man. Not 33 yet. I'm a creaking 32-year-old man. So that was going through my head. Also the fact that he died young. Also just the fucking specimen that is Michael B. Jordan. And it made me realize just what a body could look like. Michael B. fucking Jordan as Killmonger in this flick is the hottest. He's the hottest baddie of all time. Find me a hotter baddie, you're never going to happen. But he's just also one of the hottest. But he's in between two boxing training camps here. You know, he's Adonis Creed in the Creed films. I still haven't seen Creed 2, but I know that this film was shot, I think at least in between Creed 1 and 2, and he took it very seriously, did proper boxing conditioning and everything like that, and he looks like a fucking specimen in it. He looks unreal. And I'm like, do you know what? Maybe I could try and move to 1% of what he looks like, you know? So I decided that I'm going to get the app out again, get the app out for the lads, check my weight, and I've gained 5 pounds. I've gained the subscription fee in sterling for my podcast on the Patreon, £5. So I am gonna do something about it now. No more McDonald's breakfast. A Eurovision champion does not eat McDonald's breakfast. Okay, so I'm changing. And then I'm like, Grant, you know what I'm just gonna do? I'm just gonna finally get back on my bicycle, right? Enough of this getting on the Lewis with the mask. I don't like wearing the mask anyway. My glasses fog up. I can't look at TikTok when I'm on the Lewis because my glasses fog up, right? So I'm going to get back on my bike. So I went over to my bike and my bike is gone. My bike was stolen. Probably by the county council because I left it out there and it was rusting for about 2 years. But still, it was stolen. My bike was stolen by someone in, I don't know where I live. Fucking Dublin City Council, Dublin, Leary, Rathdown. I don't know. Someone, if you work for the fucking council, guess what? I'm fucking, I'm climbing in your windows, snatching your bike up if you work for the council. If you know anyone who works in the council, let me know because I'm stealing your bike. It had been, my father-in-law was telling me that people were complaining about the fact the bike was out there for so long. But I just kept looking at it and thinking, do you know what? At some stage, I'm going to be a cyclist again. At some stage, I'm going to get that bike. I'm going to bring it into the bike shop. I'm going to bring it into the man, and the man's going to fix it. Because I'm a millennial, and I can't keep things alive and intact. But what I can do is have disposable cash because I can't afford a home, and spend that to fix things. Go into the man, say, hey, I know I didn't look after it. Don't be giving me the fucking grief. Here, fucking throw cash at him. Do you know what I mean? That's how I live. So I decided, I'm finally going to do that. I'm finally going to bring the bike into the man or the woman or the NB who works in the cycle shop, the non-binary person, and ask them to fix my bike so I can become a cyclist again. But you know what? It was left too long. I left it out there like a scorned little bitch who didn't deserve to be ridden. And then it ran away, or at least was stolen by someone who could look after it better by putting it in a bin. So I'm sad about that, to be perfectly honest. And it also made me realize, like Chadwick Boseman, something like that. But, I thought I wanted to cycle the bike again. I probably would have done, Chadwick Boseman gone too soon. You know what I mean? It's gone too soon. It's very sad. Anyway, I'm not, but it's very sad. We found out that news when we were last week when we were camping. My mate came down just to look at the fucking state of us for a couple of hours. My mate Aidan came down on his bike, his motorbike, just to look at us. I'll tell you all about camping, and I'll tell you all about that today on Tony Cantwell's Shit Show. It's Tony Cantwell's Shit Show. Oh, lovely stuff there. Lovely stuff there. Look, it's great to be back. Do you know what I mean? This is a vacation for me. This is a staycation here in my hovel where, where it's quiet. and everyone has to listen to me, and everyone has to say I'm great. And sometimes I appear in the charts because of it. You know what I mean? There was teachers. Leaving cert results, as of recording this, came out today, unprecedentedly high, so that they wouldn't be sued. And I tell you, there was many a teacher who said something along the lines being like, Tony, you can't just chat shit for a living. You know? Something like that. Nothing exactly like that. You know, I don't have a great example of that, so I can rub it in their face. But I definitely did have people tell me to shut up, and I should have been like, Sir, I'm actually practicing for my career, sitting in the fucking box talking to myself and getting paid for it. You know, but he didn't listen to me. No one fucking listens. Now you'll listen. I used to have fantasies. I used to have two fantasies, right? One was that I would go back to my old school, art school Riche, right? And really let them fucking have it. Like, you know, Father Ted being like, and now on to liars. And just, sorry, dropped a bit of blue tack that I'm fiddling with my fingers, right? And I'd go in there and I'd be like, you know, and Mr. Blank, this song's a song. So, and like, you know, music would like swell up and I'd be like, and kids, if they tell you you can't chat shy, fuck them. I'd be pissed. I'd be like fucking Shane Lynch at the Video Music Awards. I'd be like, there's been a lot of fucking shy said by your teachers, right? You can do that and tell them fuck you and Tony sent you. Or whatever, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. But I always had a kind of I had three fantasies, right? Well, two involving, well, kind of three actually. You know, one was kind of, I'll tell you, well, I'll go back, right? That was the main thing I used to fantasize about, going back to my school and letting my teachers have it and being a success and laughing at everyone, right? Another one was that I come back a Jedi and I just choke out, and my old bullies are there. I didn't have any bullies in school, but my old bullies from, like, you know, around my area or whatever, or any kind of lad who used to shout at me, like the lad on the moped who said, chow, chow, because I was wearing the train conductor hat. They're all there, and I choke them, and I dismember them with my lightsaber, right? That was one fantasy I had. And then another one was that I die, right? I thought, I'm going to die. If I die, right, I want them to hold an assembly in the school, and I want my cousin Omar to read out a statement from me from beyond the grave, again letting people have it, and you fucking, for whatever reason, right? I wasn't even that angry, I wasn't even that bitter, but you know when you're a child and you just won't be listened to. Anyway, I don't know, I have nothing more to say about this. I have nothing more to say about that, right? But I'd say it's hard. My little brother's gone back to school, you know, he's there with his masks and everything like that. You know, I'd say they're doing, you know, I'd say playing bollocks. It's great crack now. You know, bollocks, where you have to say, you know, the whole thing is the next person has to say it louder than the last person. You know, but you got those fucking masks on. Bollocks! Bollocks! So you wanker! You wanker! You wanker! And everyone's just like, who said that? You have to say, put your hand up. Who said I'm a bollocks? Put your hand up if you said I'm a bollocks. You know? I'd say they're getting up to bloody great fun. What else is there? So yeah, man, let me tell you something, man. It has been a big week. Let me tell you, this fucking goat house is gonna clean up at the Gossies, man. The goat house is gonna clean up, gonna fleece the Gossies. It's gonna be the goat train. Ha ha! That's the sound of a goat. Speaking of which, hang on, before I get on to that, we were driving around the West, right? And I made a really funny joke to my wife. I said, Terry, look, doesn't that bloody, you know, this is how I talk when I'm not doing a podcast. Doesn't that bloody cow look a lot like a sheep? And she goes, it does a bit, yeah. I was like, well, what do you think that says? Do you think it says ma? Instead of moo and ba. I said, Terry, love, what do you think of that bloody cow over there? I think that cow looks I think that cow looks a bit like a sheep there. What do you think? It does a bit. What do you think of that? I think that cow. I think, what would you call that? A bloody cup, would you? A bloody chow. And I bet it goes, ma. And then she could have said, and chose not to, said, I think Tony would probably be, if it heard your bit, it would probably say boo. Like a moo. She's not as funny as me. And she didn't say any of this, but you know what I mean? This is just a... and I tell you, a lot, speaking of the horse meat from the thing I was talking about earlier there, a lot of these cows, a lot of the horses look like cows. like they have the same pattern. You know, what's the difference between a horse and a cow? Just other than a fucking long head. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So we should we not just be eating the fucking copper? Copper. Yum yum yum. We just be eating all the. You know me. I'm a big. I think we should be eating all flesh. Anyway, speaking of goat, I was famously snubbed from entering the goat house. Goat house is a TikTok house. Isn't it mad if you just say something with a bit more enunciation? You can just sound like an old bastard, right? Goat house is a TikTok house full of millennial influencers. And it's actually, it's fine. It's just, So it was getting a bit, it was doing the rounds on, it was doing the rounds because everyone was just slagging it off. And I'm like, what? You little bitter crab. Why you let these fucking kids have their goat house? What's to stop? Why do people, I kind of understand some, I understand some people can be cautious of people with a large reach on a social media of exploiting that reach and getting people to either, you've seen it with so many things with, the beauty world and skin. I don't know. My wife, watched a video about it. James Charles or something. I don't know. Someone in makeup is doing something and they're selling. They're pretending like they don't have a stake in a product, and then they do. You've seen it, like Influencers Unveiled or whatever, or Bloggers Unveiled or whatever it was, right? So there's a level of scrutiny there when you don't put a hashtag SP or whatever like that. But these are a bunch of fucking kids going into a gap to throw water balloons at each other and have a good time. Genuinely, that's all I saw, right? So what is the criticism? That they're self-centered? Why do people want the goat house to burn down to the ground? Is it because people think it's self-obsessed? I tell you what's fucking self-obsessed. I'm gonna be fucking cards on the table. I've already told you I had fucking Chinese off a rock in a field on this episode, right? Here's self-obsessed. Me going on to every single one of these people in the Go House on their Instagram to see if they follow me back, to see if any of these follow me back, right? Now, made Pete send me a link to Go House, and he was all like, "You need to leave your wife and kids and go on in this Go House," right? And I was like, "Oh yeah." And then I looked it up, and I was like, because I don't know who they are. I don't know who most of these people are. With the greatest respect, people do. It's not like, oh my God, how do you not know? Let's drop the whole, oh my God, how do you not know? Some people know stuff. Some people don't know who Paul McCartney is. Some people don't know who Beyonce is. Some people don't know who James Charles is. It's no big deal. Some people don't know who Ninja is. Do you know what I mean? The spheres in which we live is not just the, RTE 1 and 2, okay? So the things that we have and the reach and the scope of information and the things that we like is much greater. So people like different things. Deal with it, right? So I was like, I don't know who they are. And I was like, I wonder if I rocked up a Go House, they'd be like, oh, Ploon, So I went on, not a single one of these fuckers follows me. So I agree. Let the Go House burn to the fucking ground. I'm obsolete. I'm washed up. The members of Goat House don't know who I am. So if I could not even dream of being, and you would fucking do it too. Don't act like you have never gone on to someone who you follow, unfollowed to see if you got the follow back. By the way, that appears on the notifications, by the way. Just letting you know. Find it that hard way. Right? So I don't even want to, what else are you doing? There are some people on Instagram. So don't fucking, let me tell you this. Do not be standing up now pointing at your headphone at me, right? Because if you're on Instagram and you're like the 99% of people who don't post much on Instagram, you're a fucking creep. You're a creep as well. So don't be acting like, you're looking at people. You're looking at people. You're just staring at people. Imagine every single picture that you looked at on Instagram a day had to be printed out and given to you in a dossier. How big would that dossier be? And how much of a pervert would you be if you put it on a wall? All the pictures you looked at. That's what you're doing. You're going through photos and videos. You're watching. Imagine you had to experience Instagram in a physical thing, and you had to actually print off. Imagine you had to print off every single picture you looked at on Instagram today, and it was printing out the computer, and you're hoping no one sees you because it's so public. It's not just on your phone. And then to actually watch a video of someone's Instagram story of someone, you know, or someone's fucking TikTok that's playing Doja Cat. You, I didn't even notice the punches that you... And someone dancing, right? It's your mate dancing to Doja Cat, and you had to put that in a VHS on a little wheelie trolley, you know, and you had to watch that on your own in a room. That's what you're doing, but you're doing it on a phone. So don't act like I'm fucking loser for seeing if anyone in the Go House likes me, and they don't. But that's fine. I don't need them. I don't need them. But you know what? And I tell you, I would have easily. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if I'd have ended up in the Marty Guilfoyle situation. Marty, you know, from he's a spin DJ and a musician in his own right, and he was getting a bit of Caroline flack. No, you know, no, I mean slack. Not like he wasn't, but he was getting a bit of a, he was getting a bit of. People were giving out to him saying that his behavior, because he's a 30-something-year-old man, and most of the people are 19, was a bit weird, you know. And he made a statement saying that someone his own age had said it to him originally. He rocked up. He saw it as a networking event. You know, they're TikTok influencers. You know, it's just what they do. They're having a good time, right? They're just fucking doing whatever, you know. But people were having a bad time with him. I mean, I could have easily, you know. I mean, if you don't ask enough questions, you could end up in a house with a bunch of teens. I don't really know what my point is here. I don't know what my point is. I suppose my point is that. Well, probably what would have happened is, so I would have got a message off someone, right? I'm not in Go House, right? And I don't, you know, and because I went in there and be like, what do you do? Oh, I suppose I do funny videos, you know, like, all right, you know, who yeah. So I'm not on Goat House, right? But I'd say if I got an actual message inviting me onto Goat House, right? Inviting me into their TikTok influencer house, right? That it would be like, someone messaged me, hey man, do you want to come on to this thing, Goat House? It's with a lot of influencers. I'd probably write back like, ha 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 ha. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. What is it? Because that's how I talk. I'm a coward. I want to make this person happy because they messaged me. Ha 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 ha. Oh my God, that's incredible. Do you want to do it? Yeah, that sounds amazing. Maybe, you know. Ha 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 ha! Amazing! Wow, where is it? Oh man, I have to check out. I'm divvying out. This is, you know. But I could easily find myself in a situation like that. I sometimes just, that's the thing. I would not have an affair, right? I don't want to have an affair. I'm doing enough fucking damage eating a fucking Chinese in the field. That's my secret. That's my secret shame boxed off. I don't need any more, right? But I could easily find, I'd say the closest thing to get me into an affair would be me trying to awkwardly, finding it too awkward to not follow through. Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking, she really thinks I'm, or he, may as well he actually at this stage, we're all fucking, everything's going out the window, you know? He wants this guy, this hot guy, he thinks I'm going to fuck him, right? Jesus, this is awkward, right? I need to get out of this situation now. Yeah, I could find myself awkwardly, awkwardly following through with sodomy. No, I would. Anyway, I'm sure I would have ended up. And I tell you what, if I was on that thing, I'd be walking around looking at my phone the whole time because I'm shy. I can't. That's the difference. I can't be walking around with my phone out. I'm being like, you know, I need complete. That's why here in the podcast studios, can I tell you where I'm recording? Because it is the podcast studios here on Pier Street. Are you a small, medium, or large-sized van? If so, you need to come and record here in the podcast. Everyone does be here. Stephanie Preisner, technically my peer because he's a public figure, but that is where the peerage ends. Micheál Martin, you bloody trash bin. Who else? You got the Dubland crew. You got Suzanne Kane, PJ Gallagher in here. Everyone is here. And you can be here too at a very competitive price if you were to come here. I have no stake in the company, but they've been very good to me. So anyway, they let me rent here so that I can actually sit here in quiet and do my influencing alone. I want to influence alone. So I would have been shy. And I tell you, when I was at the Gossies, it was the perfect place for being a bit of socially awkward because everyone was on their phone. You can actually go. Terry's not giving out to me for being on my phone the whole time. I'd go into this TikTok house and I'd just be so shy. And I'm like, all right, how you doing? But they seem like nice people. And I don't understand. I don't understand the hate. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand the hate. Is if it's them being self-obsessed, well, guess what? I'm the fucking cunt who went online to try and see if anyone would follow me. So how's that for fucking self-obsessed? Do you know what I mean? And guess what? If you don't like it, there in 2 years there's going to be 8 billion people on this planet, and some of them are still writing books, some of them are still writing poetry, and we've plenty of scientists. So why don't you let a bunch of teens go off into a gaff, throw water balloons at each other? Do you know what I mean? That's all they're doing. Anyway, the worry is that someone's like, I just want to be an influencer, and it's like, well, what? Like, I think it's great that makeup artists and have a deep, like, there's such a genuine, awesome nerdiness of people who are obsessed with makeup, and what things do to different skins, and if you want to go down the more glamorous route, or if you want to go the more dermatological route, like, there's such a nerdiness with that. It's like a level of cosplay that people love, and the people who talk about it are experts in it, and they know it works for them, and they give reviews on it, just like anything, like tech and everything like that. That's influencing based on a deep knowledge of a product, because that's where we live. We want to know reviews. We want to know all this stuff. So doesn't let people do that. The worry is when you walk by River Island and you see a little child mannequin doll and it has a T-shirt on it that says #influencer, and I'm like, yeah, for what? Fucking, shitting up your back. Do you know what I mean? Well, we had to get bigger nappies for my son because he kept shitting up his back. Ooh, there goes my shit all over my back. Oh my. So what are you influencing? Do you know what I mean? Speaking of mannequin, do you remember that film Mannequin with Kim Cattrall where she played the mannequin? And I had that song, and we will build this dream together, standing strong forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now. I sang that too long. One time, I was at dinner with my family, and my stepmom was like, that Mutia song had come out, that was like, it ain't over till it's over, and, and they were like, what's that song? What's the original song? And I said, oh, I think it's, and I sang just for too long, like I just did there, and everyone was like singing. It wasn't like, I didn't just do like what I did there, it ain't over till it's over. I was all like, oh, I think it comes from that, many tears I cry, so much pain is, still watching, and it ain't over till it's over. And I was like, even in my head, I'm like, why are you still singing? Everyone's there at dinner, and they're just like looking at me. It's one of those moments, just has a little pang. I don't know what it is. I don't know what, if it's embarrassment, but you're just singing for too long. Oh, you mean that song? Many tears I cry. Still going. So much pain inside, 'cause maybe it ain't. Oh, and even now I shouldn't be singing this song. If it's over. Anyway, Mannequin. We need more films like those in the 80s, like Mannequin, like The Little Mermaid, like Splash, right? Where it is a extremely dumb, almost inanimate object, weird science, gets transformed into a hot woman, and they're so dumb because they're not from this world, and men just fall for them, like fucking Ariel combing her hair with a fork, and Daryl Hannah eating a fucking lobster with her teeth, and Tom Hanks is like, wow, wow, she's so hot. Look at her eat a fucking lobster with her teeth because she's so dumb. That's amazing. I want a lamp that turns into a woman with Bradley Cooper dating it, and it's dumb. Like, can you switch me on again? Hey, baby, I can switch you on. Tell me something, lamp. And he like dips his head underneath the shade to kiss the bulb, and he burns his lips. I don't know. I haven't thought this all the way through, but I was thinking that like there for a long while there was just movies that it was like kind of like this dumb, like you wouldn't be shy off a cat becoming a hot woman. Courtney Cox, there's a cat walking around. Well, since this is my fantasy, let's think of this. It's a cat. It's a house cat. All right, here's my premise for a new one of them kind of films, right? A recently divorced comedian, Irish comedian. I need to stop saying that. I'm not fucking divorced my wife, right? I love my wife very much, but I'm just saying, like, it's kind of what if fucked up situation, right? This woman leaves a comedian because he's so self-obsessed with himself. So self-obsessed, he went on Instagram to see if anyone in Goat House followed him on Instagram. This is sort of caliber of self-obsessed we're talking about, right? She leaves him because he is just so self-obsessed. So he gets this, he doesn't make that much of it as a comedian. Definitely not as much as he used to make in his job in sales, right? You drink if you're playing Tony Cantwell Bingo. So he's not looking after himself. He goes into Super Value, buys a deli chicken, right? And he's living in this like shitty little flat, right? And he's eating. He hasn't even made any fucking salad for this thing, right? And he's eating the chicken and he's feeding it, and he sees on the windowsill like a black cat, street cat, right? And he's like, "Oh, how you doing? How you doing, pal?" And he gives the cat a little pet, right? And starts feeding it some chicken. And then he gets down because this motherfucker can polish off a full chicken, right? In the film. So he eats the whole chicken, and then he gets to the wishbone, right? And he gives it to the cat, right? And he's like, all right, make a wish. And the cat bites one side, and he wishes for love. Okay, he wishes for love in his head. He doesn't know what the fuck cat's wishing for. Probably the rest of the chicken or whatever. He breaks it, right? The wishbone snaps, right? And this washed up, obsolete comedian, recently divorced, he wins the bigger side of the wishbone, right? And his wish comes true, and the cat transforms into Janelle Monáe. And now it's all of a sudden Janelle Monáe, right? And she is as fucking stupid as a cat. But no, you'd have to. She's cool, right? She's cool, right? But she's she's not. She's not like I love you, I love you. But she's she and she knows that there's a bit of back and forth with me. I'm having to put litter in the jacks for her and all this stuff. I wouldn't be into that, actually. I wouldn't be into that. Yeah, it's probably a reason these things die to death. It just wouldn't fit, would it? It just wouldn't. Anyway, so I fall in love with the cat who's Janelle Monáe, who used to be a cat. And that's not to say that Janelle Monáe is number one for me. But she's first pretty lady. Whatever. So it's me, and Janelle Monáe just rediscovering love. And the whole premise is, it's like who he, was she ever even a human? Did she ever, or was it just what he wanted to see? It's a dark thriller, and it's called Wishbone Pussy. Is what it's called. Anyway, I went camping there. A couple of a week ago. I've been on a staycation, guys. I recorded a couple of podcasts in advance. That's what you tell us fucking teachers, is that when you chat shit for a living, you can do a bit of an advance and give yourself a week off. And I'm not talking about I'm talking about a week off from having any responsibilities. So we went wild camping, found a lovely camping spot, lovely river, a waterfall, a vista down in a little place. It was pissing down. This is the weekend before last. And it was really, really bad, but then it cleared up on the Friday. And this is how the idea for the camping came out of pure spite, because we've got friends, and in a WhatsApp group there's loads of girls, loads of boys in it. I don't know if it's the same as yourself, but this is the case in my case. And the girls decided one night, out of ever, to go over to one of the houses and have a girls' night and have food and meal and everything like that. So a lads group was set up in a lot of haste. Out of nothing but spite. And we couldn't seem to organise that on the day or the next couple of weekends. So we're like, right, we'll go camping, right? And then we figured out a weekend, which was 28th of August. We were going to go camping. And we set this up in like June. That's how far in advance. Just one evening, the girls having wine, just fucking seriously riled up the lads. So we're like, right, we're going to go camping in advance. So like when you have a wedding that's like 2 years away, you realize that you can start paying off. When you pay off bits in installments, you don't kind of realize what you paid. We are at our wedding. Me and Terry got married within like 6 months, and that kept the spending to 6 months of spending, you know. So similarly, this was the thing where it's like, right, if we were camping next week, we'd have a week where we could buy stuff and only the essentials. But we had 3 months of time to plan and talk, and the hype on the WhatsApp group. Oh my God, oh, you wouldn't believe it. So we were buying everything. I bought a 3-man tent just for myself, COVID and all that. I bought a new sleeping bag, got a rucksack, I got boots, I got, what else? I got a spork, got a whole enamel cookware set. I got a hat, right? Getting all this stuff. And then obviously the shopping, bought a shitload, you know. I bought 20 cans on the way down. And we got down, so the whole plan was to go down there for like 48 hours. Fucking lads, 48 hours, 2 days in the fucking woods. Weather was great, it had cleared up. You know, all this time I'd planned it so far in advance. Terry was like, fine, take the weekend. We went down there about 6 p.m. and we left at probably about 11 a.m. the next morning. We spent, I think, 18 hours. We lasted, hands up, we lasted 18 hours in the woods in a very safe environment. We just went fucking too hard. We went too hard. Freud famously fled to the Swiss Alps because he realized that humans were just products of their baser needs. They were just, all they were fucking feral, held together by society. And I saw that in the woods when we were there. There was nothing left. There was nothing left. We would have drank the fucking river had it been clear. There was nothing left. The water in the river was dirty. And I heard some of the lads the next morning, I could hear them moving around. I could hear them saying, oh no, you're going back. Are you going back tonight or are you going back tomorrow? You know, everyone's kind of getting a feeler. Like everyone around the next morning trying to figure out who they could bully into saying that they wanted to go home early, so that we could all hop on the bandwagon of like, this, little fucking, whoever it was, you could have a mate who's 6'2", little fucking Paddy now wants to fucking go, you know, trying to figure out and goad people. Oh, I bet you want to go now, you know. And I was firm. Terry fucking, anyway, I'll get onto that in a second, but I was holding firm. I was like, no, I'll stick around, you know, even if it's just one of us, you know, I'll stick around. And then eventually it was like, no, we want to go. We've kind of voted that, you know. Well, I eventually agreed because it was like, literally, it wouldn't be that much crack, you know. But it wasn't me that initiated it. And when I text Terry, she called back and fucking laughed her fucking ass off at me. I had her on speaker. She laughed at all the boys in the car. And her parents laughed at me. She was staying at her parents because, you know, just, you know, with the baby. And I rocked up at the parents' gaff and they all fucking laughed at me. They were rinsing me out of it. And she was like, how much money did you spend? And I get to spend a lot of money. To spend 18 hours in the fucking woods. But I tell you what, on 18 hours. Let me tell you how big this 18 hours was, right? It was such a big 18 hours that when I was feeding my son a bottle on the Tuesday, right? On the Tuesday, I was feeding him a bottle and I burst into tears. And I blubbered at how amazing it was that he was drinking from a bottle. And I wept on his head. So that's how it made. So it was definitely 48 hours of a night confined to 18 hours. And I tell you, go back. I recommend it. Go out to the fucking woods. There was some weird shit out there. Saw like an altar with a skull on it. Went out there, had a little dance around, started spraying shining a red light on it, making it real scary. It was fun. I like being scared in the woods. Then after that, I went out west. Went out the wild Atlantic Way. Wow. Wild Atlantic Way. Wow. I went out to the Wild Atlantic Way in Clare. Let me tell you this. Clare has it all. Cliffs, sea, the Burren. It has it all. And I've been to Ennis, but I'd not really been around Clare. We were at Spanish Point, and it was lovely. I loved it. I don't know what else to say about it. I didn't notice myself. Similarly, when I was driving around saying, Terry, what do you think of the bloody cow there? Looks like a sheep, you know, when I was laying it on my own real patter with my darling wife. I was also saying, I was doing that typical thing that Dublin people do when they leave Dublin, you know, which is just be condescending. In the confines of my own car, of course. But I was like, what do you think, Terry? Could you ever do it? Could you ever see yourself? Could you ever fucking this shithole? No, it's not. It wasn't shithole. I love Clare. And it was gorgeous. And genuinely, it made me think I want to have a cottage. But you know that thing that Dublin people do, Do you think you could ever do it, huh? Come out here to the bloody sticks, And I was no. It's the same kind of condescending that you have when people have like come back from like Buenos Aires, or places that aren't like South America or Lagos or something like that. And they're like, "I tell you, Lagos is actually quite a European city." Like, you condescending, and I've done it too. Buenos Aires is actually quite a European city. No, it's great. Montreal, it's actually very European. I mean, better than everywhere else is kind of what you're saying. But it was great. It was good. I lost my wallet. This is fucking. I'm just to tell you, and that's on my mind. I thought I lost my wallet, and I tell you, I didn't look for it, right? But I was just like, no, it's fine. I don't know if you've ever seen the film The Grey. It's Liam Neeson, and it's kind of a situation where there's a plane crash, and everyone on the plane, the people who survive, have to escape. Fucking timber wolves are chasing after them. Big, massive fucking grey wolves are chasing after them, and they're just like hunting them, and it's just trying to get away from the wolves, and it's a fucking unbelievable flick, right? And there's a bit in it where it gets, spoiler alert, skip ahead 15 seconds if you don't want a spoiler but one of the guys just goes, he just stops running. He's like, can't run anymore. I'm done. And I remember seeing like, wow, like that's so me. Like I would just so quit. You know what I mean? Like I've never actually seen someone quit and just be like, I'll die. I'm just tired. I'll die then. Like I think that's what I would do. So similarly, when I lost this wallet, I was like, I know what's in the wallet. All my bank cards are in the wallet. My driver's license is in the wallet. My public service card is in it. There's a tiny bit of squashed weed in it as well, right? A tiny bit. And I'm like, it's gone. And I could look, but I couldn't be fucked. I'll just call people. I'll just sit in a chair. I hate looking for stuff, and I'm shite at it as well, and I hate it. So I was like, fine, I'm just going to have to go through the rigmarole of cancelling everything, of updating my cards on my phone, going through fucking online banking, going through all that shit, all of my direct debits being fucked, having to get a new driver's license, but beforehand that, having to get a public services card so I can get a driver's license, having to go through all the COVID. I was like, fine, I'm just sitting here on the stump and let the fucking wolves take me, Well, look, this has been a fun one, right? This has just been me fucking rambling. I came in here with no notes. I came on like a bloody blow-in at a gag party without my own notes, and I don't know what any of that's about. So that's it. I've had a good fun time talking to you. And if you would like to hear more, if you would like to pay the equivalent of the weight gain that I've put on since July, £5, but actually that in euros, actually €5, you can do so. If you want to pay €5, you can do so. There you have it. If you would like to support this podcast, you can do that and get even more podcasts. One extra podcast every single week, and an extra movie podcast where I might actually talk about Black Panther, since I watched a little bit of it. Maybe I'll expand it. I'm thinking actually doing maybe a John Hughes selection of maybe The Breakfast Club and 16 Candles. That's what I'm thinking, maybe a double bill. So if you want to listen to them coming up in the future, you can do so on the Patreon. But if not, I still love you. I still fancy you. I think you're class. You're lovely. I love you too. And whatever. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye. It's only a shit show. I don't know.